Good evening with everyone. I am going to give a summary of the book The Road to the Hills. Jamie, a young university student studying in London, was on vacation and was taking advantage of the time to visit interesting buildings. But the building that interested him the most was one called Melbury, which was a church located in the south of England. The young man was walking through the center of the city, but he could not find the church, and he approached a woman to help him with direction. He knew how to explain what she was looking for, and that was a little lost. The woman called him Laurence, which led him a bit surprised, and the look of that lady made him uncomfortable. However, when he asked her for the second time if she would help him, she calmly accepted. Then he asked Jamie to come inside the house, and she agreed, but they still felt uncomfortable. The woman led him to a room and left him there while observing that there were objects that belonged to a small child, but he could pay attention to the fact that the lady was too old to have a small child. And then I looked a large photograph of a path that led to a hill. The path that crossed to the hill said, the woman as she entered the room without being here while she was observing in a very strange way. Then the young man decided to change the conversation and asked him about the church. The woman gave him a map drawn by her, where she indicated that the church was the south of the town. When she was about to leave, she took his hand and invited him to take a tea. But when he did, the loud is a disturbing voice which made him feel afraid and want to run out there. When he continued walking, they could not find anything, and Nas began to feel nervous. Then she realized that the map was wrong. It was there that they realized that the place where there was exactly to send in the photograph. And suddenly he came out from among the trees. A man took a picture of him and ran. He followed him and realized that the woman dresses a man. He walked back to front and entered Ted's bar. When she sat down to tell Wit about what happened, there he told him that people always waited the ground wait, and Jamie asked him if the strange lady does it, and Ted he said that her name is Mary Walgrave, and that he has a little there for more than 40 years. So the young man asked him if they had children, and he answered that they had one. Then he told him about an accident where Mary's son Lawrence died. She left injured, but the child died from the impact of the train. The next morning, the young man managed to find the church. In the afternoon, he took walk in the town, and the night that he visited the bar. They helped him a little to forget the sad story of Mary and her son, but the next day he remembered into the sea an old photograph of him and decided to go to woman's house to say goodbye. When he got to her house, the door was open. He went into the look for her, and he saw that Lauren's room was no longer that. It was clear, and he saw that one wall had photos on several children is of different age, and one of them was him. There understood that the photos and a story, and because remembered that the train tracks were the cause him pain, that is why he called the road through the hills. Then he found the woman asleep in the chair, and did not want to her makeup. So he remembered that he had a photograph of the from her trip to the beach and decided to leave him the photo of her signs. The photos of her make her happy.